Just got fired for refusing to sign an admission of guilt. Work in an insurance office full of your typical awful office Karens that I have never gotten along with. They have tried to pull me into their little high school rumor and shit-talking thing, and I noped out and declined all invitations for after-work, girl fun. I'm here to work. Anyways, I got called into the principal's office, I mean HR, and they sat me down and explained that I was being reprimanded for non-professional behavior as reported by one of the Karens. I asked for an explanation of what it was that I did, and at first they didn't want to explain it. I immediately recognized that I'm being targeted by the Karens to get rid of me because it's important that I play their childish games. So I hold my ground and explain that I can't fix behavior if I'm not told what it was that I was doing wrong. They explained that I was being rude on a personal cell phone call. As you can tell, I do cuss a lot, never in office. And I'm never on a personal call unless I'm on a break. Or on lunch. Unpaid 1 hour. So I asked for further details. When, where, what did I say, etc. What it was. Yesterday, while I was on my lunch break, I was outside in a little patio area where lots of people eat their lunches outside. The thing I said was a yo mama joke. Not even a good one. Just, and yo mama so fat she has her own gravity, joking with my friend on the phone. I was on my personal time. Technically still on work property, but it's against the parking lot, and there was like 3 people within earshot outside smoking. Well, they explained the joke isn't really the issue so much as the Karen who reported me just lost her mother to COVID, and the joke that wasn't even directed at her offended her enough to report me for it, and HR ran with it. I refused to sign the infringement because that's some NASA-grade bullshit, and instead offered to apologize to the woman for her loss and try to explain that it was not directed at her in any way, and that I would be careful about what I say around her. I've never had an issue with work ethic, being late, issues with customers, or any other issue with me working there. Nope. Sign this or you're let go as of your lunch hour today. I walked. Fuck 'em. You're assuming that you wouldn't have gotten fired if you had signed that paper. A signed admission of guilt only serves one purpose. It's so the company can present it when you apply for unemployment so they can deny your claim. I've been in trouble twice at work. Both at the same place where I was a secretary. Part of my job was managing the office supply inventory. I had the closet organized well. The office manager, CEO, and I had a key. The CEO, who had been there for years, had gone in looking for paper clips and couldn't find them. He came out complaining that it was a mess and we needed labels on the shelves. I said I would put some on, but also told him if he ever needed help finding something in there, I was familiar with the layout and could help him. Apparently this was offensive and I got a talking to by my boss. The second time is kind of deserved cause I was trying to highlight how ridiculous the CEO was being. In the copy room we had a binder with original forms and it was divided into sections based on was department used those forms. It is important to note that the CEO never uses this binder. If he needed forms he would request more from me. Well, one day someone left the binder open in the copy room and he brings it to me and asks why the divider tabs don't stick out enough. I am not understanding because they're divider tabs. They stick out enough. He asks me to find a way to make them stick out further. I take some labels and make each divider tab stick out probably 3 inches or so. I quietly put the binder back. He went later to check my work and got mad cause they were sticking out too far. I got another talking to. But then my boss looked at the binder and thought it was hilarious. She didn't make me redo the tabs. copied from last time I told this story. Used to work at Babies R Us ages ago. I was the registry supervisor, which was also basically the receptionist. One day I get called into the manager's office and she hands me a write-up. It says that another employee complained that I didn't say hi to them after they said hi to me. I was super confused because that's not the kind of person I am. So I dug for more info. Apparently this coworker was clocking in when they said hi to me. The price check scanners were used to clock in at that time. It was about 10 feet directly behind me, meaning I was facing away. The manager also admitted she had checked the cameras and at the time of the incident, I was on the phone with a customer, very obviously talking while looking something up on the computer. I asked if I was seriously being written up because someone said hi from 10 feet behind me while I was very obviously helping a customer and engaged in a conversation in a busy store and I didn't hear them? Spoiler. Yes. Yes, I was. That wasn't even the worst or most ridiculous thing she did, either. Fuck you, Shirley. I was once reprimanded because a coworker eavesdropped on myself and another coworker talking about our grandparents. He heard me say something like, "Oh, my grandpa was in the Knights of Columbus." 2. Dude goes running to the manager and starts complaining that I'm spreading rumors that my grandfather was a member of the Knights of Templar. My manager, instead of telling this guy he's an idiot, calls me into the back and tries to write me up for boasting. Face with raised eyebrow, I asked about what exactly and she tells me the Templar nonsense. I ask if she's joking, which angers her. I tell her that would be quite a boast considering the Templars haven't been active for over 700 years and even if I had, who cares? She just got so red in the face and sent me back onto the floor. I told everybody and she and that idiot were made fun of for a solid month. Jesus. You should hear the shit my workers and I say to each other. Don't forget to file a UI claim. This is a story from school. But what is school if not a training ground for the workplace? I was 11 and my sister was 7. There was a strict, no snowballs, rule at school because of potential injury. However, we lived across the street from school so we went home every day to eat lunch. One day during lunch, I threw a snowball at my sister on our front lawn. She ran across the street to the school and told a teacher. I was sent to the principal's office and given detention for throwing a snowball even though it wasn't on property, just because it was during school hours and someone, my sister, complained. It's been 20 years and I'm still salty about it. You did the right thing. Never sign any document you believe to be an admission of guilt. Now, you can collect unemployment and I believe that the firm's unemployment insurance will increase. They were going to fire you anyway. Never sign any admission of guilt or write-up. They likely wanted you gone for something else. Likely something they weren't allowed to fire you for, like collecting workman's comp, discussing wages, or talking about unions. Once they've painted a target on you, they'll find something, anything that they can work with. It usually is a grotesque twisting of the truth. If you find you were fired for some absurdity or they're taking some event hugely out of context, that's not the real reason they want you gone. That's just the cover story. Once got written up for incorrectly doing a task. I was never assigned this task. And furthermore, the task never existed. I just sat through listening to these two dolts that had no idea what they were talking about. Then said, okay, and walked back to my desk. They had it out for me because I was competent, and was not depending on being in their little club to get ahead. That they used to take credit for ideas. I got fired from a nursing job once because I wasn't one of them. They were all mid-40 plus. Extremely family-oriented. Made their children their entire identities. And could have all been named Karen. The Friday before Mother's Day. A few of us were in the break room and they were discussing the ridiculous shit their husbands, kids, had planned. They asked me. I told them my parents offered to take my kids for the whole afternoon. So I was going to take an uninterrupted nap and then clean the house. You'd have thought I announced my plans to murder somebody. The next Monday, the manager of the clinic called me into her office and told me the other nurses thought I was cold and uncaring, and that some of them had had miscarriages. Their kids died. They were never able to have kids. And my statement about motherhood offended them. I told her I was a single mother of 2 children, one of which was on the autism spectrum. And while I love them with my entire being, I can't be a good mother if I'm exhausted and living in filth. It took about a week for my hours to get cut down to nothing and an email stating I was terminated. When you get another job that pays more, send some flowers to the office for the Karens thanking them for you getting paid more now. How much better the culture is, etc. Living well is really the best reward. Yo mama so fat, it's like her job or something. Hashtag HUMANRESOURCESISNOTYOURFRIEND. Be wary of Karen in the workplace. It's her natural habitat. They like to come across as sweet and caring. A shoulder to cry on, so to say. It's all a ruse to get info and eventually betray your confidence. Yup, bullshit write-ups. Never sign them. I was reprimanded after a coworker accused me of saying the word pussy to a client on the phone. The call she must have heard? It was in Spanish. The word she heard me use was puss, which means put. Fuck you, Jungle Scout. You should have said, I need to consult my lawyer, be right back. This happened to me. I muttered something under my breath that was directed at a stupid email I had received. I was facing my computer, working, and not speaking to anyone. An older Karen across the aisle furthest from me somehow heard me through her earbuds. Might have been off at that moment, but she always played it super loud. And thought I directed it at her. She complained to my team lead, who was my BFF and boss. Literally acted like I shot her. I had no idea. Left on PTO next day and came back to my BFF pulling me outside and asking WTF was wrong with me, as I knew she was hypersensitive. I literally had no idea what she was talking about. I was so confused. My boss talked to me. Asked me what I did. I was getting the 3rd degree, but I said I have no idea what you're talking about. Didn't even hold a conversation with that woman on that day. My boss wanted me to take responsibility and apologize. For fucking what? Some crazy woman's delusions? At this point, I hadn't even connected the dots and asked how the hell I was responsible for disembodied voices that only she can hear. Boss didn't find it funny. But it was a damn good point. I think it was a day later and my boss got clarification on what I did. Came back to me and said, well, you apparently said shouldn't you know how to do it by now? When she asked a question to the team lead. I stared at her. It clicked. Quote. I said that to our horrible client's email and was talking to myself. As we all do. I wasn't facing her or even heard her because my headphones were plugged in. Well, I see. You should still take responsibility. It shows leadership. I didn't apologize. Fuck that noise. There was another time I was told to accept responsibility for a client mistake and I never did. Good for you. I was fired a while back to not being a Karen. I wouldn't office gossip and I would walk away when they did. One of them was a straight-up bully and I saw her bullying another one day and stood up to her. And since I was only there for 5 years and she 20, I got the boot. Fuck those people.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.